Awesome, awesome. I do believe we are live. We're live on all of our channels, and I'm excited to be here today to talk to you guys about who you're actually selling to. So today's topic is about who you actually sell to. Most people don't know. Some people are have don't have clarity on who you actually sell to, and finding out where they're actually at, meeting exactly where they're at. So that's what we're going to talk about. Also, is the five stages of awareness. So you see, most entrepreneurs do not stay broke because they do not work hard. They stay broke because they do not know who they are actually selling to. See, when you understand your ideal client and the state of awareness they are actually in, your message gets clearer, your marketing gets easier, and your sales get stronger. Most entrepreneurs do not stay broke because they have nothing valuable. They stay broke because they're talking to the wrong person or talking to the person or the right person the wrong way. They say things like, I can help everybody. Anybody can buy this. My offer is for anyone who wants more, right? And that sounds good, but it does not sell. Why? Because when you talk to everybody, nobody feels seen, nobody feels heard, nobody feels like you are talking to them, nobody feels understood. And if people do not feel understood, they do not move. You see, people don't buy because they understand. People buy because they feel understood. That is the problem. A lot of entrepreneurs are broke because their message is too broad, their buyer is too vague, and their sales process has no precision. And that's why today we're going to talk about why some entrepreneurs are broke. They don't know who they're actually selling to. If you do not who know you're actually selling to, you will say the wrong thing, make the wrong offer, attract the wrong leads, and stay broke trying to sell to everybody. Most stay broke because they do not work hard, right? They stay broke because they don't know who they're actually. When you understand this, ideal clients get, you know, in their stage of brand awareness they are actually in, your message gets clearer, your marketing gets easier, and your sales get stronger. The money is not just in the offer. The money is in knowing who the offer is for. So again, welcome to Anywhere Entrepreneur Live. Our apologies, we were on a couple minutes late. We had a little connection issues here. That's the life of an Anywhere Entrepreneur, right? We're actually all about the freedompreneur way, the freedom to live, to work, to earn from anywhere. Last live, I was in a city about an hour south of here in Vietnam called Hoi An, Hoian. If you've ever visited, if you want to be a traveler, right? You want to be a freedompreneur, an anywhere entrepreneur, where you can actually run your business from anywhere in the world. It's definitely one of the greatest cities to actually visit. Actually, it surprised me. They have this development zone where they call the old city, right? Where they just put so much into it. That's why there's so many tourists and people coming to visit. It's clean, it's safe, it's got so much going on, so many things to do for family, tons of great food, entertainment. They really know how to give you a phenomenal experience. Again, it's all about the experience, right? People buy the experience. We're not in the information age anymore. We're in the experience age. So it's a phenomenal experience. I had a great couple days there. We were actually 3 days there, and then now we're up north in a city called Da Nang, which is about an hour north of Hoi An. So, and the live last week was about um, how the wealthy get wealthier. They know how to sell in more than one way, right? We talk about automated selling, one-to-one selling, one-to-many selling, virtual event selling, in-person event selling. If you haven't watched that video from the last live, I would highly recommend you actually watch that, because once you know how to turn leads into money, the next question becomes, how do you actually sell in the right way, right? Today's live, again, I'm in Da Nang, Vietnam, DA space NANG, another phenomenal city that really was really built for visitors, right? For people to come visit them. It's so visitor friendly, right? Um, For now, we had a great time at the river. They have this bridge called the Dragon Bridge, where Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays they do a whole light show and breathes fire, and just boats are everywhere. So it's really phenomenal. Night markets everywhere. So also Danang is another phenomenal place to actually visit. So and slide we're actually going even deeper, right? Because once you understand the sales mechanism, the next question becomes, who are you actually selling to, right? Because knowing the sales method is important, but knowing the buyer in the sales method is vital, right? And by the end of the slide, I want you to know exactly who your ideal client really is, right? Why trying to sell to everybody will keep you broke, and how the 5 stages of brand awareness change the way you market and sell, right? Because when you know who you're actually talking to, everything gets easier. Content gets clearer, your offer gets stronger, your sales get simpler. That is what today is all about. So if you're ready to get clear on who you are really selling to, drop buyer in the comments. And if you're actually here live right now watching us, or even in the future, if you're watching this in the future, on our channels, then if you're tuning in from, let us know where you're tuning in from. Just like I am actually here in Danang. We just want to know where you're actually at, right? So do that for us. So now, before I teach this, let's really talk about your lack um, of buyer clarity. This is the resistance to this, right? Because most entrepreneurs do not want to narrow down their buyer. Why? Because narrowing down feels risky, right? You think, if I get too specific, I'll lose people. If I choose one type of buyer, I'll miss opportunity. If I make the message too direct, I'll shrink my market. But the opposite is true, right? Specificity does not shrink your market; it sharpens your message, and that is where people resist, because being specific forces you to make decisions. It forces you to choose who you are really for, what problem you really solve, what stage your buyer is really in, and what message they actually need to hear. That is uncomfortable to most people, quite honestly, right? Because now you commit, and you cannot hide anymore behind big language, right? And the stakes are high, my friends, very, very high. If you do not know who you're actually selling to, you will attract the wrong leads, create content that gets attention but not action, make offers that sound good but do not convert, and stay frustrated because you are blame market instead of your message. So this conversation today matters because many entrepreneurs do not have a lead problem. They have a clarity problem, and clarity starts with the buyer. Last live was about the sales mechanism. This live is about the buyer behind the mechanism, because once you understand how to sell in more than one way, the next question becomes, who are you actually selling to? Because if you do not know the buyer, you will use the wrong message, the wrong hook, and sometimes even the wrong selling method. That is what today is about. So let me give you the framework for today. There are two things I want to walk you through and share here. The very first thing is who your ideal client really is. The second thing is the 5 stages of brand awareness. Book called Breakthrough Advertising by Eugene Schwartz. He wrote the 5 stages of brand awareness. I would highly recommend you actually reading that book. It's literally um, the Bible, right? In terms of marketing, message, market fit, and selling, and really understanding and meeting your clients where they're actually at. Okay. So I highly recommend reading it. Because knowing who you're selling to is not just demographic. It is not just age, gender, location, profession. It is also psychographic. That's why the 5 stages of brand awareness is vital for you to actually delve into and really learn the ins and outs of it. Okay, so read that for sure. Psychographics is about what they want, what they fear, what problem they feel, what they believe right now, and how aware they are of the problem and the solution. This is huge for you, right? Because every single one of your ideal clients needs a different message depending on what stage of awareness they are actually in. Once you understand that, your marketing gets smarter and your message starts to hit, right? So let's start with the first part. Who are you selling to, right? Your ideal client is not just someone who can buy. Your ideal client is someone who has a painful problem that keeps them up at night, 3:17 a.m., eyes wide open because they cannot sleep. They're in so much pain. It's big challenges, big problems, and they can't sleep, right? They're stressed, they're overwhelmed. What keeps them up at night? Want results, right? They value the transformation. They are ready for the journey and is a fit for your process, right? This is important, right? Psychographics is important because not every one who wants to help, right, wants help is your buyer, and not everyone who can pay you is your ideal client. So, who are you actually selling to? You need to know who they are, they are struggling with, what they are trying to get to, what they believe is in the way, what language they use to describe their pain, what story are they telling themselves, and what result would feel meaningful to them. Again, what result and what transformation would feel meaningful for them. You see, people buy emotions, they buy the result, but what they really buy is how they feel once they get that result. Okay, this is your first threshold of control, because once you stop thinking in broad categories and start thinking in buyer precision, you stop making generic content and you start making relevant content. When the buyer gets clear, the message gets powerful. You are not trying to attract everyone. You're trying to resonate deeply with the right one. Once you get clear, right, who you serve and sell to, your job is to do two things: is to attract the best fit and to repel those who are not. That's it, right? So let me repeat that. Once you get clear of who you serve and sell to, your job is two things: repel, right, attract the best fit, and repel those who are not. That is marketing. That is what your whole purpose is to do, right? So now let's move to the second part. The second part is the 5 stages of brand awareness. Again, not every buyer is in the same mental space, right? That means not every buyer needs the same message, right? You could have your hundred of your ideal clients, your buyers in a room together. They do not all have the same problem, and they cannot all hear the same message, right? Because a message on, let's say, if your thing was about helping people, you know, buy back their time, buy back their time might get the attention of only 10 or 15% of the room. You know, the other room might have money issues. So if your thing is about helping them make money, you might get the attention of 20 or 30% of the room. If your message is about, you know, sales funnels, you might get the other, you know, or selling, or in sales funnels and selling, you might get the attention of the other 10% of the room, right? So they all, it's called message market fit. That's why the stages of brand awareness is so vital to this, right? Because that means not every buyer needs the same message, right? So here are the 5 stages of awareness. The very first stage 1, is unaware. Unaware, they do not even know they have a problem. They are living with symptoms, but they have not named the issue yet. Stage 2 is problem aware. Problem aware, they know something is wrong. They feel the pain, but they do not know the solution yet. Stage 3 is solution aware. They know their solutions. They are exploring options, but they do not know if your solution is the right one. Stage 4 is product aware. They know about you, they know about your offer, but they are still deciding, right, whether to trust you enough to buy. Stage 5 is most aware. They know you, they know the offer, they know the problem. Now they need the right push, the right proof, the urgency, or invitation to move, right? This is a timing thing, right? And here's your biggest test, right? Here will be your biggest test. Can you diagnose what stage your buyer is in? Can you stop saying the same thing to every audience? Can you match the message to the awareness level? Here are your allies in this: empathy, precision, market research, listening, customer language, relevant hooks, message, market, match. And your enemies in this is vague targeting, broad promises, copy cat messaging, right? Assuming everyone is ready to buy, making a direct offer to an unaware audience, speaking above or below the buyer's awareness stage. You got to know their awareness level, right? Because the right message said at the wrong awareness stage still feels like the wrong message. For entrepreneurs, say what they want to say. The entrepreneurs say what the buyer needs to hear next, right? So now let's bring this all together. If your buyer is unaware, your message should create awareness. If your buyer is problem aware, your message should agitate the pain and name the problem clearly. If your buyer is solution aware, your message should position your category of solution with authority. If your buyer is product aware, your message should create differentiation, right? Trust and proof of your unique selling proposition. If your buyer is most aware, your message should invite action, right? This is where your message to market match gets revealed or gets exposed, right? Because most entrepreneurs are talking to everyone like they are already ready to buy. They are making strong offers to weakly aware audiences. They are asking for commitment before clarity. They are pushing product before the buyer even understands the problem. That is why the message misses. This is why the content underperforms. That is why the sales feel hard. Your ordeal in this is you have to be willing to stop saying what sounds good to you and start saying what moves the buyer where they are actually right now. If you talk to an unaware person like they are ready to buy, you lose them. The wealthy get wealthier because they do not just know what they sell, they know who they're actually selling to and what that person is ready to hear. So let me ask you this. Which awareness stage do you think most of your audience is right now? Are they unaware, problem aware, solution aware, product aware, or most aware? Drop that in the comment section, whether you're here live or you're just watching this later. Drop in the comment section, right? Is it unaware, problem aware, solution aware, right? Product aware, or most aware, right? Drop in the comments. Because here's the truth. Marketing is not just about saying more. It literally is about saying the right thing to the right person at the right stage. That changes everything for you, right? Because when you understand the buyer and their awareness level, you stop blaming your content, your offer, or your market too quickly. You start diagnosing the real issue. Wrong buyer, wrong message, wrong stage, wrong time, right? That is the truth. The truth forces you to go back into your business and stop asking, how do I get more people? And you start asking, who am I really trying to reach? What stage are they in? What do they need to hear next? Right? Because once you learn this, that is when marketing gets smarter. That is when selling gets easier. All right, so let's get practical with this. After this live, your assignment is simple. Write down two things. The very first thing is, who is your ideal client, right? Who is my ideal client? Answer, who are they? What do they want? What are they struggling with? What result are they after? What language do they use? Right? What is getting in their way? Right? And then second is, what awareness stage are they in? Are they unaware, problem aware, solution aware, product aware, or most aware? Then ask yourself, am I creating content and offers that match their current awareness level? If not, that is your next fix. If you stop talking at your market, you'll start speaking with them, right? So my message today is very, very simple. Some entrepreneurs stay broke because they do not know who they're actually selling to. They talk too broadly, they message too vaguely, they sell too soon, and they ignore the buyer's stage of awareness. But when you know this, what you learn today, who the buyer is, what they want, what they are struggling with, and what stage they are actually in, everything changes for you, my friends. Your content gets sharper, your offer gets clearer, your leads get stronger, your sales get easier. That is how you stop staying broke and start building riches with precision. Right? So let us know in the comment section, what is your biggest takeaway from today? Was it ideal client? Was it the brand awareness? Or was it just really just messaging? Is it message, market, match, right? So drop your biggest takeaway in the comment section for us. We want to know, really just so that we can get better and we can make sure that we serve you at the highest level as well. So if this message spoke to you, drop awareness in the comments as well. And if you know it is time for you to stop talking to everybody and start speaking to the right buyer, drop buyer in the comment section as well, right? Um, and if you're ready to go deeper, I'm going to invite you to join us at our Dream Life, Dream Business Challenge. Inside the challenge, we'll help you get clear, crystal clear on who your ideal client really is, what stage of awareness they are actually in, what message you need to hear, and how to build an offer and business that attracts the right people instead of chasing the wrong ones. Because the truth is, entrepreneurs stay broke because they do lack clarity. And when you get clear on who you're actually selling to, everything gets easier. Your message gets clearer, your marketing gets stronger, your sales get simpler. So if you're ready to stop guessing and start building a business that speaks to the right buyer, come join us inside our Dream Life, Dream Business Challenge. The link will be below inside the video description. So, all right. So next live, we're going to build on this because once you know who you're actually selling to, the next question becomes, who do you actually say, what do you actually say to the right buyer? What do you actually say to the right buyer? Now that you know who, what do you actually have to say to the right buyer? What's your message to market match? What do you say to someone who is unaware? What do you say to someone who is problem aware? What do you say to someone who already knows they need help but is not yet convinced that your offer is the answer? Because knowing the buyer is one thing, knowing what to say to that buyer is another. So next live title is going to be about what stops entrepreneurs from building wealth. They don't know what to say to the right buyer, because the truth is a lot of entrepreneurs do not stay stuck because they have the wrong offer. They stay stuck because they're using the wrong message for the wrong person at the wrong stage of awareness. Next live, I'm going to be coming into you from Ho Chi Minh. We actually leave tomorrow from Da Nang to Ho Chi Minh, which is Saigon, the main, in Vietnam still. We'll be there for the next 4 days. So I'll be coming live from you there, and I'll share with you guys what Ho Chi Minh is like. So if today was about understanding who you're actually selling to, the next live is about understanding what to say to move that buyer forward, right? We do not want to miss that. And for those of you who are joining us at our Dream Life Dream Business Challenge live, we'll see you there. And for those of you who are here with us right now, I will talk to you soon. Stay blessed, my friends.